everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the Pixie Palace. And today we are back for the weekly Oracle card reading for August 7th, 2022. And of course we have to have our video bombing of Mr. Timmy. This week is going to be a very intense one. And I know that's not what a lot of us want to hear, considering we've been going through our own revelations and inner shifts and experiencing the intensity of the shifts throughout the world. We're seeing our matrix way of life crumbling in so many different ways, and it continues as we go forward. Now, this could mean in the outer world, we're seeing a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. It shows no signs of stopping. And it also refers to our inner reality, because as we are doing the shadow work and really shifting things in our inner world, we're noticing a lot of things are falling away. You might also notice that going through your own awakening and transmuting that old energy, a lot of things in your old way of life is falling away. Even things that you really love or are comfortable with. For some people, everything falls apart one after the other. And for others, it might be just one or two things, but may be very significant. It can be very unsettling because you're living outside of a norm that you're not used to. Please take heart that it is okay to be a little nervous about it, but there are better things coming for you. It may not seem like it right now, but there are good things coming to you. It's just sometimes, as in our outer reality, as things change, old things have to fall away because it has to make room for the new. As we learn to allow the good things to come in and let go of the old things, the easier the shift becomes. Let's face it, we're human. We're going to struggle with that sometimes. There are things this year I had to let go of. And there are a couple of things I'm still in the process of letting go of as well. And sometimes you might think you've let go of something and it comes back to you in another form because you still need to learn the lesson of letting that particular thing go. So don't be surprised if there are some repeat lessons this week. It doesn't mean you failed in your process or your awakening. It just means that you might have to go through something so that way it can teach you that you are okay, that you are in a safe space, you are supported, and that you have much more power than you're aware of. That is very crucial to our awakening process. And all these lessons that we do learn helps us become a better version of ourselves. So do try to remember that. I know it's hard sometimes, but the more you remember that, the more you implement that in your daily life, it'll become a little bit easier each time. So this week is going to be very interesting. We have the Lionsgate portal on the 8th. That is a very powerful time. That's usually when a huge shift of new energy comes through. And this is when we really start working on our manifestation, for lack of a better word, or just bringing things in to our lives that we want. We have to be very careful about our thoughts, our actions, and our intentions right now, because everything is happening a little more of an accelerated pace. As you might have noticed, the days seem to be going a little faster. Time is a little bit different than we're used to. That is only one of many forms of this process. So definitely continue your self-care. Always take care of yourself. Make sure your energy tank's full. If you are depleted right now, try to step back. Do the things you need to do to keep that tank full, so that way you can show up for yourself and for others better. Without further ado, let's get right to the reading and see what the universe has to say this week. As we get into the reading starting August 7th, 2022, we are going to be using my infamous card deck, Oracle of the Fairies by Karen Kay, as we have some crystals alongside of the deck to help with the energies that the universe will bring to this reading. All these readings are timeless, so no matter when you watch this video, if you feel led to do so, there is a message in this reading for you. It may be something that will resonate right away or something that you will see later on. So let's see what the universe has to say. Okay, these are the cards that came out after a shuffle and clearing in the deck. And I have to say, once again, these are amazing, so beautiful, and pretty profound messages coming through. So let's get started. Our first card this week is Solitude. Think of being alone as meaning you're all one and in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasures are those that wait silently during your quiet times. And this is so true, and I think a lot of us realize this already. When we're in solitude and spend a moment with ourselves, we take a time out from our busy lives. We tend to tap in a little bit more into our heart space. We may address certain things that are bothering us. We may just take a breath when we've been holding our breath without realizing it throughout the day. Or we just might take time to close our eyes and just be grateful for what we have. It's really, really interesting how much clarity can come into focus when we do spend a little time alone. And really this is important to our spiritual awakening and process. When we spend time, even if it's just a few minutes every day in solitude, we can really unplug from the societal way of thinking. We can really do a little self-scan. We can do a body scan on ourselves, see where our energy is at, and see where there's certain sore points that we need to address, whether that's physically or mentally. Sometimes we're in such a fast-paced lifestyle and are trying to meet so many other people's demands that we tend to forget about ourselves. And like in last week's reading, I was really addressing the importance of filling your own tank before you help others. And this is still very important. And that's actually something that's going to be beyond a weekly reading. That's always important to do that kind of self-care. Also, with solitude, another element to this is there are a lot of people who feel very lonely when they are alone. And it's a natural human feeling to feel this way. We've all experienced that. And it tends to happen more when we're not as aligned with ourselves. Sometimes when somebody is in a relationship, they're not happy or fulfilled in, and they know it's not going to get any better. But instead of leaving that and maybe being alone for a while and be in their own solitude, they stay for fear of being alone. And a lot of us don't want to be alone per se for our whole lives, but being alone in important times such as healing, rest, really just reconnecting with who we truly are is vital. And when we find that balance between seeking relationships with others that's as equally important, that are nourishing, healing, add happiness to our lives, and also seeking the solitude within ourselves and nurturing the relationship with self, that is when things are very aligned. We start understanding what we're grateful for in our lives, and we'll actually not feel as depleted. Just take 5 minutes in the morning when you first get up. Have meditation, sit down with a cup of coffee, do some journal writing, or take a walk out in nature. So definitely take time out to do that if you haven't already. And remember, always find balance. The second card is Protection. The fairies of protection are shielding you with a magical fairy ring of love and light. Practice psychic protection before embarking upon any spiritual work. This is super, super important, and the universe really is stressing this one this week. There are a lot of different energies out in the world and beyond this world. There's a lot of positive energy, but there's a lot of negative energy, and energy does have life. Energy can never be destroyed, just in different form. It's always important to protect your heart and protect yourself as you're doing the spiritual work, especially when you're doing shadow work. It's important to give yourself an energetic space where you are protected and you're divinely guided. There is protection from the universe. A lot of us are protected by our spiritual team, whether it's our spirit guides, angels, loved ones, what have you. And that's really important to remember. But we also need to take that step and protect ourselves. If you're out and about somewhere, if you feel that weird vibe, and we all know what we're talking about, you don't have to be spiritual per se to understand that feeling. It's that gut feeling, that intuition that kicks in. And this could be for good energy or bad energy. You could enter a room and the energy is beautiful in there and you just want to be in that energy. And it's very heart affirming and uplifting. But you can also go into another room and it is negative. You could cut the tension with a knife. It may be really not safe and you just feel it in the pit of your stomach. That is when it's time to either protect yourself if you can't leave or leave altogether. When we ignore those intuitive feelings, we tend to get ourselves in trouble and we tend to attract more of the same. With a lot of things, it is important to keep our heart open. It's how we heal. It's how we transmute our old stagnant energy. And it's also how we connect with others and with ourselves. But even in doing this, protecting ourselves is very important. We can do this in so many different ways. You can say a little prayer for the universe to protect yourselves, or ask your angels to come in and protect your home. You can even envision a bubble around you, maybe in the color that you see yourself in, and say a certain affirmation that protects you. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and there's really no wrong way to do it. It's just a matter of what is in your vibe. So it's really, really important to remember this week especially. A lot of things are going on in the world, as we have been noticing, a lot more craziness. And the Lionsgate portal opens on the 8th, which brings a whole other level of energy. Nothing bad, but just very intense. It's going to be very life-changing for some, and it really takes a lot of us to a whole new level, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. So it's really important to be on our A game and really protect ourselves, protect your thoughts, protect your mind, protect your heart, and protect your soul. Being a little more mindful of what thoughts you're thinking of, or what energy you're absorbing from certain things you watch, or music you listen to, or even conversations you're in. Not that you can't have constructive debates or listen to something maybe that's not all super spiritual, but just be careful what you absorb. If you notice your frequency or your energy or even your mood's dropping, that should tell you something. Get away from that. And last but definitely not least, life energy. The happy fairy of sunshine brings lots of life-giving energy. She reminds you to shine your light and to reveal anything in the shadows that needs to be healed. Right on. And this is a beautiful card, very positive energy in this, of course. And it's just a gentle reminder to let your light shine. A lot of us have been conditioned to dull our inner light, to not be as authentic as we'd like to be, because that can be frowned upon in society because you're not fitting in that box or that cookie cutter way of doing things. It might trigger some people. It shines some light on their dark issues that need to be healed. And we're conditioned from kids on up to do this because we don't like how it feels when people are triggered. We don't want to hurt anybody. We also don't like being picked on because of it. And unfortunately, that's the reality with some people. It depends on where everybody is in their life journey. And not everybody is going to be in the same place. It doesn't make them less, it doesn't make them more, it just is. This is just to remind us that it is okay to be ourselves. It is okay to express our authenticity as long as you're not hurting anyone else or infringing on someone else's free will. Life energy is what we all have, and it's important that we show our light because we can really help others by doing so. And it doesn't mean we have to go out helping people in a way where, oh, let me help you. It's not that frantic kind of energy. It's just being who you are. Sometimes just being the example of what beautiful life energy can be and what that light is supposed to be in this world. It really can empower people because they'll see that and go, I can do that. I can shine my light. And they may bring beautiful gifts to the world. Do you have a gift that you've repressed and haven't been showing to the world? Let it shine this week. Bring your gifts to the world because the world will need them. It could be the simplest things. But right now it's super important to express our authenticity because as a lot of us are breaking out of the matrix way of life, the matrix is crumbling big time. And we're seeing a lot of signs of that in this chaotic world. A lot of it's kind of rough right now because we have to unfortunately go through that as things crumble. They have to go through that destruction in order to be able to build new. We have to remember to reclaim our own light and shine that on the world because we are here to be the example of the new world. We are here to shine the light and help others in their path. And it's really interesting how simple it really can be. Just not being afraid to be yourself. Living your life in your highest purpose, in your highest joy. And let go of all those old patterns that don't serve you anymore. And let go of what the society tells you what you can be or what you can't be. Well, that was our reading for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There are some pretty powerful messages in this. Energetically, I felt a lot of resonance with these messages. So, if you like these kind of readings, click like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow. But more importantly, it allows these messages to get to those who need to hear them. I really love you all. I appreciate all of you. And I want to thank you for all your support. This channel is growing more and more each day. And soon we'll be at 1,000 subscribers. So until we meet the next time, I hope you guys have a beautiful week. Keep going for your dreams. And remember always, you are enough. Until the next time, to know yourself is to know your truth. Namaste.